Good morning, everybody. Should I say nearly it's noon time is coming up to our lunch very soon, and I hope everybody is here is more or less ready for the lunch, and then I could keep my little speech a little bit short because I do. I need this. Thank you. I just asked him to keep this cup here because I've got a little bit of herbal drinks here. I've got a bit of a sore throat, and so do put up with me, and because it's I do have 3 children as well, and I just got my disease, this little flu or sore throat from my children actually. Okay, now on the screen itself, isn't that beautiful? This is a 111 years old former police station in Hong Kong, in the remote area of Hong Kong. And in the past few years, we have actually helped the community, actually partnering with the government to revitalize this little building. And it's now turned into a heritage hotel, a boutique hotel, in which we have got only 9 rooms. And some of the TTC staff, they have been trying to boat it with patience, okay, because it's not easy. And the kind of collective memory for people in Hong Kong is still quite strong about the colonial things happening in the past. And because when new territories actually gone into to the Hong Kong government at that time in 1898, and they spent about 4 years of building this, and then this is a very strategic place to overlook the Sino-British boundary and so on and so forth. So this is actually a very colonial building. It's actually represent a very colonial history as well, and in the process itself. And I heard the other 2 speakers, they concentrate on social enterprise. And we are now moving from just being, sort of philanthropy into social enterprise, helping people to help each other. But how this is actually linked with the other 2? Because when we first started, this is a project about heritage conservation. But we gained more than that during the process. And I remember in 2008, my boss actually asked me to be in a job. And at that time, I was thinking, great, and because I was actually born in Hong Kong, Tai O myself. I'm a very, local person in that particular place. And I remember in the 70s, we have got about 30,000 people residing actually in Tai O itself. Is a big fishing village. It's a very important place, actually making salt, doing fishing business, and it's actually supplying to area including the Pearl River Delta. So this is a very strategic place. But by now, we have got only about 2,600 people living in Tai O. And out of that, over 40%, they are over 65. So we are having a very aging population. So other than just revitalizing this building, and we gain slightly more than that. Now, I talked about the background already, and this is actually built in 1902, 111 years old. This is a project that actually we partner with the government, which is a partnership scheme and private-public partnership, and which is the moderator, Joe, actually mentioned I am actually a general manager of Sino-Land, and we have actually set up a non-profit organization to run this whole thing, the Heritage Conservation Foundation. Tai O. I don't know, anybody here, they have been to Tai O? Good, I'm so glad. This is actually a very special place of Tai O, as the indigenous leader of the place says that this is a coincidence actually, which is mistakenly being inherited in Hong Kong, because in the past 30 or 40 years, because it's actually being neglected by the community of the urban area of Hong Kong, and also by the government. So it's never been developed. The place is actually being kept very intact, just like 40 years ago. So you're actually seeing some stilt houses, And in fact, this kind of houses for the fishermen is actually quite common for 100 years old or even 50 years ago in Hong Kong, also in part of China. But because of development, they all being wiped out. People move out from those huts and actually move into housing on shore. This is actually being kept. People are actually living in there, and those are from fishermen. A lot of them, they don't do actually fishing business anymore. As here you can actually see, this is Tai O, the very western tip of the whole Hong Kong, actually even west of our airport. This is the aerial view of that, and as you can actually see here, I don't know whether you can see my pointer. They were all dedicated to salt industry when I was actually very young, but obviously it all died down now. And when I was young, they were all fishing boats parking or mooring all over here, or also along the canal. It's actually a very crowded place when I was young. Now this is a place which is actually, according to the Hong Kong government, I think the oldest piece of things that the archaeologists find in Tai O is about 6,000 years ago. Actually, in Tai O, we started to have people years ago. But obviously, with histories, the oldest building now in Tai O is about 580 years old. Actually, in day back in Ming Dynasty. And this is a place, apparently, I've been told, and a very important little spot for the Pearl River Delta in Qing Dynasty and also at the beginning of the century, because this is a place where they would actually supply salt, because a lot of the little cities around the Pearl River Delta depend on salt supply. How does it actually look? This is not very long ago, and this little transportation we have, when I was young, I was actually relying on this to go to school on the other side of the canal. This is actually a very crowded fishing village. On guarding onto the Sino-British boundary, this is what has been built in 1902. This is actually how it actually looked in 1964. It was actually mostly occupied by the Marine Police, because this is an offshore island. Not until 1996, the highway was actually being built from the urban area onto the new Chalapkot airport, and it's actually handed over to the land police. They took over in 1996, but because of the population dying down and also the crime rate is actually very, very low there, because it's a self-helping community, and then the station is actually being closed 2009. This is where it is geographically in Tai O. The old Tai O police station, as we have actually engaged some of the people, they were actually living there, i.e. those policemen, they were actually being stationed there. And this is a very fantastic place. At first, whoever actually been told you will be transferred to Tai O, they thought, oh God, I got a demotion. And but after about 3 or 4 months, they told us this is more like a heaven, because there is no job. Every day they just talk to us, talk to the local residents, and eat with us, and then walking around. You could actually see the smiling face is all about play, and it is more like a posting, which is right next to your retirement, as I've been told. Okay. Now, this is the old, the little picture showing it actually consists of 3 buildings. the main building, the outhouse, and the later extension. The later extension was actually being built in 1964. The need of being, putting more police over there because of the illegal immigrants, sort of at that time. And as you see, the main building is actually being used for officers and the higher rank officers, and the outhouse is actually being used for the lower rank officers. This is actually how it looks when we took over. We change it. We help to, at least we help to change it, and we participate in the whole thing and turn it into a boutique hotel. But changing it is very necessary. But in the whole process itself, it is because all the parameter is actually being set to us, and this is a 1902 colonial building. It was a police station. How's it actually being turned into a boutique hotel? We need to do a certain amount of modification, but in the process, we're handling that with care because we don't want the whole thing is actually being destroyed. So in the process itself, we are trying to do that in a very sentimental way. And also, we're thinking about the cultural significance of the whole things as well, to the local community, to the community in Hong Kong at large, and also for the history of the Marine Police at that time. We have actually turned the hotel, the police station into a nice suite guest rooms and also one restaurant. And believe it or not, with difficulty, is now comply with the modern regulation and needs of Hong Kong. And but also in the whole process of renovating it, we have this in mind, which is reversible new works. Whenever the community needs to see the Tao Heritage Hotel to be shown as a old Tai-O police station as a museum, it can be reverted very easily because everything has actually been built on top like an envelope. This is a little plan of the whole thing. And we're restoring the authentic appearances. Like at one time, because Tai-O is actually, this particular spot is a very remote area, it's subject to strong wind, typhoons, everything. For convenience, the officers, they put windows onto the veranda and so on and so forth. We're opening up the arch again to show the original use of veranda. Is actually turning into a better place in terms of the authenticity. But obviously the challenge is there because the reason why they put windows there is a reason, because now we're facing a lot of problems of gusted winds coming in, and especially in typhoon time, and leaves and winds are actually gone into our rooms. Condensation within our rooms is actually very, very bad, and it is a challenge itself. Now this is, we do respect the original use and fabrics as well. This is the old charge room and holding cells. We retained all of it. We turn it into our little reception area and also our interpretation area. And people do like the experience of going to the holding cells, especially the parents like to lock up the little children there when they're being naughty when they're on site. And this is a little joke we have. Whoever is actually being naughty on site, they be locked up in there for 15 minutes. And so this is a little thing they spread up. Not spread by me, but by the parents. It's going on. It's going down quite well, actually. Even the children, they are trying to be a little bit naughty. They like to have the experience of being locked up in there as well. Now, those are the other offices and also area within the buildings being converted into to rooms. Despite the fact that we are in Hong Kong, but in Tai-O, over winter times that can actually get quite cold. As you could actually see, all the room in the main building, they have fireplaces. And we have, in the process itself, in 1960, when they were doing renovation, they have actually blocked all the fireplaces. In the process of restoring it, we review all of them. Now they all can be seen. Now this is the roof of the later extension. And to make the whole thing sustainable, we put a glass roof on top and make it into our restaurant. And the good thing is as mentioned by Teresa just now, she's hoping the whole thing about helping underprivileged will become a movement. I should certainly think we are moving to that direction, because in the process of revitalizing it, we're thinking about the restaurant. I don't know whether some of you have actually patronized a little tea shop in Central called the China Tea Club. It's now closed down, obviously, 2 years ago. When they closed down, they donated all the furniture to us. As you could see, actually blending very well in this colonial place. And we are very fortunate. We are saving money for the general public and also for the social enterprise. This is actually how it looks. Forgive me doing some little commercial of showing you how it looks, because this is a social enterprise, this is a non-profit making organization. If you patronize there, you know, sort of, all the revenue we made out of it would actually go back to the community. I will explain later on. And this is the opening. The software conservation, what we have done is, in the process, I have mentioned at first, when we first went in, we are actually participating in a partnership scheme for heritage conservation. But we gain more than that, because in the process itself, we have do a lot of netting with the networking within the community. We know all the local community. We know about the demographic change in Tai O. It's actually gone from 30,000 people to 2,600 people. And also for the youngster, if they finish schooling in there, there is only one secondary school in Tai O. They have no choice. They have to go out. They have to go into the urban area. They would desert the place because there is no opportunity. But now at least in here, currently we have got 29 members of staff on site, and out of that 50%, one time slightly over 50, now slightly below 50, now we have got 14 people. They were indigenous Tai O local residents. Those youngsters, if they were not given the chance to be employed here, they would have to desert their grannies, the grandmothers and the grandfathers. They will have to go into the urban area of Hong Kong to join the parents to find jobs. So the place will be even gone down, like what I say, the demographic change of the whole place. The population is actually going down, and also the aging population is actually growing bigger. So in the process itself, we met all sort of different people here, the local residents and also the former Marine Police. We engaged them to come in to look at the old place itself, to share with us the old record of photos. We interviewed them to do some records of the livings, little stories they have back in the place itself. And we also set up this little arms of the social enterprise. We have actually participate into the local rural committee, different organization of Tai O. We help them one way or the other, like the little Dragon Boat Parade, which has actually been rated as the national intangible heritage of China. And in the past, the parade was actually being done very, I hate to use that word, but in an amateurish way, because there are 3 dragon boats, but they parade in a different time. So if you are being a tourist, if you're being someone who cared about the intangible heritage of Tai O, want to go in to look at it, you look at one dragon boat coming out from the canal, and you have to wait for 2 hours for the next one to come out. So this is a little things we could contribute as a social enterprise, being backed up by the volunteers from the mother company side. We do some meeting with them, not quite teaching, but share with them, how that can be improved. We bought them some walkie-talkies, some 30 of them, so that they could communicate with each other better. So one Dragon Boat comes out, in about 15 minutes, the next one will come out, and the tourists will find it better. And the whole place will be a bit more buoyant, because people going into Tai O will find it more interesting. And hopefully that will attract more tourists. The economy in Tai O could be, improve a little bit. and attracting people to go back. Say, for instance, on the far right, this is shrimp paste, which is a specialty of Tai O. And the factory was actually being run by an old classmate of mine from a primary school. One man band. But now, because of the business is getting so good, his children went back. They were 30 years old, 25 years old. And that is, the sign is, other than Tai O Heritage Hotel, now the local community is actually, because of the opportunity of the tourists, attracting people to go back. And hopefully that will solve many problems like the aging population of Tai O. Hopefully the fishing village would not be sort of diminish in the future, and also that would actually attract people to go back and alleviate problems in the urban area like housing, underprivileged problems, and so on and so forth, job opportunities. How do we actually manage the public expectation? Because at first, we're setting up this social enterprise. Because of our background, we are experiencing some difficulties because of the logo, Sino. We're playing very low key already, but people, they don't believe because of a property developer of that size would actually going to do a business like that. They thought we are actually going in to take this up as a commercial venture. We want to make money out of this, or at least occupy there for 30 years, and then we build another property development over there and earn money. That's what they thought. So in order to manage the expectation, we are doing that very carefully. We're opening up the whole place to general public from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily, totally open. Obviously, except the guest room. So don't worry if you book the guest room, there for yourself, okay? And but we also have heritage tour complimentary, free of charge, 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock daily to take people around to show them the stories, the sights, and the interesting place of the old police station, and also the little story we actually gather. After now about 19 months opening, we're gradually gaining trust from the general public of the community. They think that we're genuine. So like the other two speakers, I think this is a little journey we are actually embarking onto. It's not easy, but at least after you have actually made some handsome business, so some profit on the main business. But when you want to do something good, you have to do it good. And out of this exercise, what we're actually experiencing is, as I actually shared with the other two speakers before the session, we're actually seeing our team actually being more coherent. The teamwork is actually better. And the numbers of volunteers hours in 2011 for the group is only about 40,000 hours. But now, in 2013, we have got 65,000 hours of volunteers hours being dedicated by our member of staff, which is over 50% within 18 months. I think it's all because of Tai O Heritage Hotel. We contributed, and we partner with the government to do something good. This is actually something we're paying very low key, and the Sino Group has nothing to do with this. This is purely an NPO, and also the only thing we actually involve is our member of staff. We spend our volunteer hours to go in to help this. I'm not saying the 25,000 numbers of hours actually being increased in the group is all dedicated to Tai O Heritage Hotel. It's actually, as Teresa put it, I steal her word, it's actually getting very much like a movement. I think it's only about 5,000 hours we actually dedicated onto Tai O Heritage Hotel. But it's actually people, they wanted to do it now. They wanted to do something good for the community, other than not just Tai O Heritage Hotel, but also for the community at large. Sustainability. How do we actually sustain? Because it's only nine rooms and a small restaurant. If you're looking at a commercial venture itself, if you have to buy the plot of land, do the construction or renovation work, and then run the hotel, I don't think this is a business case. The sustainability is actually work as a partnership between the government and Heritage Conservation Foundation itself. We are actually a tenant. We have actually signed a contract with the government for 5 years tenancy agreement, and we're approaching to the end of that. We start negotiating for the new lease, which is actually will be the current one will be ended in 2014, and we obviously in the whole process itself, the government is actually within the process of tendering. They've actually selected us to be the tenant, to be the operator, and what we actually put in is only our expertise, because in our group itself we have got property developers, project managers, we have got Sino Hotel Group, and so on and so forth. We have the expertise behind to back up the whole operations itself, and the sustainability actually work like we're trying to make enough money to pay all the bills for the member of staffs, electricity. And out of this near 2 years of operation, we are only seeing the kind of profit which is quite enough to pay all this, which is very lucky, because when we bid for that, we promised to get this place break even within about 3 years. We actually did that in the first 3 months. So it was actually pretty good. And the numbers of visitors to these places has already gone well beyond 300,000 people actually visited the place itself. So I hate to use the word being successful, because I've been reminded we're still in the process of proving the sustainability of the place. We cannot say that we're being successful, because at this very moment, and it is still being supported very much by the Hong Kong local community. They like this as a collective memory. They go there to patronize this, to stay there for a night or two. But the good sign is, the healthy sign is, the international scene is actually seeing this as a heritage hotel now. The word of mouth is actually spreading quite nicely. In the first 3 months, the percentage of European or American overseas tourists staying there, 1.7%. Accumulative in the last month, we proudly announce is at about 7.5% now. So it is a healthy increase of the overseas visitors, and also with a healthy continuous support from the local community as well. As Joe put it, and just a few months ago, we have actually won the UNESCO Asia Pacific Awards for Cultural Heritage Conservation, the Award of Merits. And I just want to share with you, in there, they say the project itself is particularly commendable for its involvement of local community members and former occupants of the buildings. It is actually enhancing the social and economics opportunity of the place. This is actually the little line which I actually put to all you guys. When we were first started as a conservation project, this is what we have gained, which is gaining much better than what we could actually expect. This is a good business case within our company, and we are actually starting up a sustainability committee within the company, meeting every month and looking at our sustainability issue. We are thinking in a very different angle for the company now, which is we are using multiple bottom line. We don't just look at one bottom line anymore, answerable to our shareholders. Obviously, this is still the priority, people investing into our group, but at least now we are looking at a triple bottom line: environmental protection, social need, and also profit. So this is a very, very good lesson, and by engaging the local community and the former occupants of the buildings itself, and within this process, we have actually seen a more coherent and a more better teamwork within the firm, and also all the frontline staff in the 50s and 60s are being taken care of by colleagues and bosses, and then all along. It's not just within the community. We could actually announce to say that we are gaining so much, and we are hoping, and this little cake can be shared within the community. Other corporations can do the same if they're not already doing. So This is a little case which I like to share, and I'm hoping this little case I share with you guys could actually have some, I wouldn't say inspiration, but at least some food for thought. And for some of the corporations in Hong Kong or worldwide, what we could actually do other than just philanthropy and setting up things to help people to help themselves. That's what I'd like to share. Thank you.